This man suddenly found that their boat was not sailing on the sea, but floating on a submerged city. Under his feet was a skyscraper with dozens of floors high, and he was horrified to look around. The once prosperous city now only has a few tallest buildings, like an island spouting out of the water. Everything else is submerged under the deep sea. What exactly happened to this city? What kind of disaster can turn the civilization built on steel and cement into nothingness overnight? What kind of terrifying force can rip apart the whole Earth and make the only way for humans to survive is the simple suspension bridge built with only a few ropes? What kind of doomsday can cause dozens of meters high waves on the seabed to swallow up all the lives on the seabed in an instant? Today I'm going to bring you this doomsday disaster plot and follow the protagonist Tosetfoot on this long-awaited doomsday survival path. And the origin of this disaster began 5 years ago. W2 comets were like a deadly sickle, tearing the Earth apart. The horrific impact instantly ignited more than half of the Earth. The shock wave was like a doomsday trial, sweeping every inch of land. In just a few hours, 80% of the world's population disappeared completely. 5 years have passed, and the Earth still hasn't woken up from that disaster. Countless comet fragments are still circling the Earth's orbit. Like a time-stamped bomb, it will hit the ground without warning at any time. Survivors have tried to rebuild their homes, but soon found that this world of thousands of holes doesn't give humans a second chance. The radiation is everywhere, and it can kill an adult in 3 minutes. But the strange thing is, I heard that some places are miraculously green, as if the disaster has never come. Finding those unpolluted lands has become the only hope of the survivors. The protagonist John and the others barely survive in a castle. But the environment outside is getting worse and worse. The earthquake is frequent, and the volcano may erupt at any time. Everyone in the castle knows that it won't last long here, and they must find a way out. At this time, the space is still floating with countless comet fragments. Standing on the ground may be smashed to death at any time. The most terrible thing is that the comet hit the volcano and caused it to move. The boiling lava flowed into the dam. In the past, the blue sea turned into black liquid, and Themarine life was almost extinct. A huge cruise ship was smashed to death by the comet. In order to survive, John came to the wreckage to look for supplies. Unexpectedly, a few minutes after the search, there was a warning from the command center. A storm is coming. He had no choice but to leave the wreckage. As soon as he went out, the fog began to thicken. The storm of lightning and comets came from all over the place. In the face of the desperate John, he immediately started the death race. He had only a few seconds to live. If he couldn't return to the shelter, he would die. Fortunately, he managed to get to the safe area at the last minute. But the shelter was not as strong as expected. A super strong earthquake made everyone panic. Although there was no danger for the time being, they didn't know how long this shelter could last. And some refugees could only hide in caves or mines. Their situation was more dangerous than those in the shelter. In order to save the refugees, the command center decided to send a rescue team. Unexpectedly, when they just left the shelter, they were hit by a meteorite. The shelter was smashed to pieces and turned into a grave of thousands of people. The air is full of dust with radiation. Survivors can only wear a gas mask to escape from the shelter. Unexpectedly, the high-pressure underground water sprayed up. There was no place on the surface to provide shelter. Now the only safe area is the sea. Hundreds of people ran like zombies. It's a pity that there are only a few fully closed iron boats by the sea. It's impossible to load hundreds of survivors. In order to fight for a seat, they began to pull hard. The iron boat suddenly turned sideways and fell into the water. They still didn't stop fighting. Everyone wanted to get a chance to survive. Those who ran slowly had to stand outside and wait for death. Those who boarded the iron boat thought they were finally safe. But they didn't expect that the sea suddenly rose 100 meters high waves. Survivors standing on the beach rushed to the top of the mountain, and this iron boat was also overturned by the waves. Fortunately, the boat was fully closed and barely dodged a blow. The captain opened the oil door and quickly went deep into the ocean. After leaving the land, their quality gradually improved. Finally, they can take off their masks and breathe fresh air. Now what they have to do is to find a land that has not been polluted. Otherwise, they will starve to death in the ocean sooner or later. Who knew that the iron boat suddenly broke down and could not move?